All right, Bruchim Aboyim, welcome everyone. I want to apologize. It's been a little while since I've made responses to YouTube comments. I know David Barnes had this one I can answer. The other one about Paleo Hebrew, I don't know. I might have to do some research. But this one I can at least answer in my own, at least in my own way. How the Tzaddikim are garments of the divine archetype. So then Mr. Barnes, he said, I frequently hear about the concept, or more like the need for attachment to the tzaddik, especially from Breslov Hasidim. Would the rabbi mind explaining this concept and give his point of view on this? Thank you. So I guess there's a nafkamina, there's a difference between attachment to a tzaddik who is in this world and the tzaddik who is already in the next world. And the differences between those. So particularly when we're talking about Breslov, we would talk about the tzaddik who's already in the Olam HaEmes. And this is a worthwhile in Yana de Yoma, as we would say. It's something that has to do with today because it's the yard site of the Heilige Rebbe Melech from Lezhensk. Zchusi V'leinu al Kol Yisrael, Amen. So, and that would be explanations. In my understanding, we'll talk first about attachment to tzaddikim who are in the Olam HaEmes, attachment to the saints who are already in the next world, in the world of truth, and no longer on this world. So, the way I look at it is, let's say the Rebbe Melech from Lezhensk. How do I attach to the Rebbe Melech from Lezhensk? First and foremost, I learn his Torah. And then the next thing would be, I light a candle in the yard site, right? I tell stories about him. And if there are any prayers, like the Rebbe Melech, you have the Tefillah Kodem Tefillah, and you have the Tzetel Kotan. And so reading that would be part of that, way I would show devotion to the tzaddik. And particularly the yard site or the Motzei Shabbos before the yard site. And then also if there are nigunim from the tzaddik, to sing the nigunim particularly. I'll be honest, I've been very lazy on this today by the Yard Rebbe Melech, but we have another opportunity next month. And so that's kind of why I didn't do all the things I usually do on the Yard Rebbe Melech, although I still have a couple of hours. If I get all my other stuff done, I might be able to do that, or maybe Shabbos, even though it's not the Yard site anymore, but to invest some time into that. And so that, and then, of course, also, if you're able to make a pilgrimage to the grave, also that's part of the idea of to have to tzaddik. And so too for the other tzaddikim, so Satmarav, right? I'll go in the yard site, learn his Torah, sing nigunim that are associated with him, tell his stories. That's the way we would have his kashrus to tzaddik. And when you go to the yard, when you go to the kever, you light a candle and you leave a kvittel, and that's what I understand to be his kashrus to tzaddik, a connection, an attachment. Really, his kashrus is more like a connection, like a kesher, like you're tying yourself to the tzaddik. And so too, Nachman Breslover, or maybe it's a Berditchever, whoever it is, these types of connections to tzaddikim, that is what we would call, veneration of tzaddikim, of saints in Judaism. We don't use the icons, we don't kiss the icons the way Christians do. That could be a bit, going toward the Avodah Zarah a little bit, but still, certain tzaddikim, Reb Shaila Karastir, people do have his picture, or right here I have the Rimnitzer. I know Zisha Schmelzer gave me this to hang up here in his Tefillah Saderach. I I don't remember where I was exactly, but Zisha Schmelzer, Lipa's brother, came up to me and gave this to me, so I have this here. And the same thing. Like someone was calling me, telling me about Soros. I said, go daven by the Rimnitzer, and he said he's seeing big things by the Rimnitzer. So again, making pilgrimage to the graves, and recite Tehillim, and you leave a kvittel, and that doesn't have to be a yard site; could be other times too. People enjoy that, and that's really basically what I understand to mean his kashrus to tzaddikim. If they had certain hayros, and you follow that, they ask certain inyonim. You look at the Rebbe Melech, and he said to do this, to do that, like in the Tzetel Koton. For example, he said, look inside the siddur during Chazoras Hashatz. It's a certain, eitzah that he gave and things like that. And what about from the Haitik Tzaddikim? And the same thing, if there is Siddurim with the Nusach, Yidav, and their Nusach, whatever, if it's a Tzaddik who had a particular Nusach, or things like that. These are, if that, now, Nachman Breslover didn't encourage a particular Nusach, things like that, but you want to identify, you're a Vishnitzer Chassid, or, and there's a Vishnitzer Siddur, you're using your Karl and Stolen Chassid, and there's a Karl and Stolen Siddur, and that's how you have his kashrus to that community, dressing a certain way. In Vishnitz, they have the hats with the band on the other side, looks backwards for everyone else, things like that. And when the Belzer Chassidim, they wear black socks or whatever, the Gera Chassidim with the spodikas, and that's also part of the Indian to have a kesher, of having a connection to the tzaddikim, and that's also with the current tzaddikim, that you go to the tzaddik, you get brachas, you give a kvittel, and that's another way, and you listen to their Torah and you follow their teachings. So that's basically, and so if someone, and you can have a kesher that's, just around the yard side, you can have a kesher that's all year round. I remember the Rabbi Weinberg told a story that's, I think, by the Baba Varov, Schusik Olenu. It was Motzei Shabbos, it was Chof Aleph Adar, the yard side for Rebbe Melech. How many deer are coming? Is that the last one? Heavy Rutz Katzvi. So anyway, even though that's part of the aisle. So anyway, they said maybe, the Chassidim said maybe the Rebbe is going to say Torah from the Rebbe Melech, and he said every Yid with a beard and payas is a mice of the Rebbe Melech. So that's these inyonim, and then if we have particular, so I particularly, if you have an ancestor as a tzaddik, so I particularly, I have a special devotion to the Chavos Yor, and when whenever I learn his Torahs, it's not just like reading another book. It's a special kesher that I have when I learn, the Sefer Makor Chaim, or and again in the back of the Shal's Chuvas Chavos Yor, there's the Zmiras and things, and on Shabbos I sing the Zmiras. I try to at least say them from the Chavos Yor, and again that is an Indian of his kashrus l'tzadikim, that's how we connect to the saints. So we tie ourselves to the saints by learning their Torah, and that should be a way of inspiring us to your Shemayim, but also it's an Indian of communion with them, meaning having a community, being part of a community, and a community that's both here on earth and in the Olam Emes. The same thing with our mishpacha. We light candles for your yard site, and we say Kaddish, and things like that, and we learn Mishnayos in the yard site, and we make a Suda. That's another thing, like have a yard site Suda. And you have the yard site Suda on the yard site, whether it's for your ancestors that you're venerating, or the Tzaddikim that you're venerating, or you have ancestors who are famous Tzaddikim, you have ancestors who are hidden Tzaddikim, in their own way, whatever it is, and you make the kesher, and the same thing to your ancestors. You go to their grave on the yard site if it's shaykh, things like that. And I know some people, they're very careful that there should be a minyan at their grave on the yard site. And my family didn't have this Indian. But things along these lines, that's the way that we approach these things. And in that way, we can be zeicher to getting closer to Hashem, because Tzaddikim are close to Hashem. When we tie ourselves to the Tzaddikim, it's that's what makes that connection easier. Of course, Hashem is everywhere, God is everywhere, and you don't need that, but it's a tool in our toolbox, in our tool compartment that we can use to try to make the kesher. Is it required? No. Except, the only thing is that Chazal do say, L'dav kabo, that you should attach yourself to Hashem, means that you should attach yourself to Talmidei Chachamim. And it means both the Talmidei Chachamim in this world and in Olam Emes, by learning their Torah, by following in their ways. That's the only way to really connect to Hashem, because Hashem you can't actually connect to, but the Talmidei Chachamim you can make a connection to. And so that's but is it required to go to this Rebbe, that Rebbe? No, it doesn't even have to be a Rebbe. It could be just any Yid who learns Torah, they have a certain siyata d'shmaya, and that's the way that we can make our connections to God. I'm feeling a little under the weather, and I still want to make the video for the morale, and I still also have a lot of learning I'm behind on. So I want to apologize for cutting this short. That's the best answer I can give. I know probably in Breslov it means a little bit more, but the Haros of Nachum Breslover, he said to go to Uman and to say the Tikkun Koli and things like that. That's how you're going to make it. And learning Breslover Svarim, that's how you're going to make his kashrus from Nachum Breslover, or whatever tzaddikim that you want to have a kesher to. That's the way we do it. So I don't know if I have my keys here. I might have left them in my mom's car. So thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and we'll see you later. Alright, how do I turn this thing off? This one?